Hey guys, welcome back to TAMIYA Legends, and once again, thank you for stopping by. So it's TAMIYA Tuesday, and it's a very different one this time. So normally TAMIYA Tuesdays are sort of custom build viewers rides, as it were. This is similar, but this one's rather special. So before we get into it, a massive shout out to Kenny for putting this together for me. This is a buggy I knew of. Never seen one in the flesh, but I've kind of followed Kenny's journey with this car, and he obviously knows everything about it. So I reached out to him and says, I'd like to make a little video on this because I'd like to show the ORB two-wheel drive buggy to you guys. So he kindly sort of sent me all the information. So I've got a couple of pages to read to you, and while I'm doing that, I'll show the pictures of there's 3 different buggies. This thing's pretty incredible, I've got to say. So yeah, what I'll do is we'll just get into it, and I'll put the pictures up as we go. And yeah, this is a very, very different kind of car. Okay then, let's get into this. So ORB Racing, based in Holland, is a niche racing buggy company, mostly specialising in front-wheel drive off-road racing buggies. The designer is an avid buggy racer himself and has always been intrigued by the concept of front-wheel drive for off-road racing. Kenny is a friend of the designer, as well as being a massive fan of the front-wheel drive RCs. The concept of front-wheel drive plays to the fact that under certain conditions, having the driven wheels at the front was an advantage over conventional rear-wheel drive. This being when the surface was low grip, i.e. dirt, clay, grass, wet astro. What the front-wheel drive lost in terms of overall outright speed, straight line speed, it gained in unbelievable grip and cornering ability. Initially, he played around with the TAMIYA FF01 and bolted on various TAMIYA parts to create what is technically an FF01B. Whilst it worked, it was obvious that the platform was limited in its capabilities. He then got adventurous and started to build his own buggy using bespoke 3D printed parts that he had designed himself. The result was the AC201 FF buggy you see here, which is a mix of 3D print, carbon fibre, various bits, TAMIYA, and mostly importantly the gearbox from a successful TRF201 DN01. The designer loves TAMIYA. The AC201 FF was a concept, and as a result remained a prototype and proof of concept. It was never released or sold to the public. ORB Racing kindly gave me permission to remake the AC201 FF that you see in the pictures. Whilst the AC201 FF looks kick-ass and radical on the track, the daring design did have its limitations. So we move on 3 years to 2015. ORB Racing released the FF210. This car was a mix of mostly SLS 3D printed carbon fibre parts. The glaring difference from the first car, the AC201 FF, was the gearbox, which was now the potent and popular Durango DEX210, and the front shocks were now stand-up rather than in line. The FF210 was a major improvement over the AC201 FF in terms of performance, and was easily able to hold itself against the modern rear-wheel drives from the major manufacturers in slippy conditions. On a dry track, high grip tracks, though, the car was a bit of a handful and required lots of tuning and setup to get the right configuration. Sadly, as Team Durango disappeared, so did the parts to support the ORB Racing worked on the replacement. Fast forward to 2020, after a lot of testing, ORB Racing chose a new donor vehicle, this time being the well-supported and gusty associated B61D. Although aesthetically the new car, named a Forward, looks very much like its predecessor, the FF210 it shares almost no parts with the FF210. Improvements were made all over and improved strength to better weight distribution. The most important change was the motor placement. This moved from its trademark nose position to just behind the front tower. The results were instant, with the ORB Forward winning the overall two-wheel drive championship of the MAC Vigeman Winter Championship 19-20 in the Netherlands. The ORB Forward drivers all came in first, second and fourth in the final round. Credit goes to the designer, as he would design, print, test, repeat numerous times until he found a winning combination by actually testing it on the track under race conditions after every update. Although the forward remains predominantly low grip or in a wet car, the updates make it much more drivable on high grip conditions. Sadly, with the lockdown in place everywhere, the forward has not had much run time, but here's hoping for a better 2021 for everyone. So that's it, guys, and what a thing that is. How different is that? The prototype is personally my favourite, just because it is the prototype and it's got that sort of special element to it with it being the first one. Yeah, I don't really know much about it, so I can't really talk about it. I just think it's a really cool thing, so I hope you guys enjoyed me showing you it. I know these videos are not great, me just reading and putting pictures up, but it's nice to get this stuff out there. So ORB Racing hasn't got a website as of yet, but they're working on it. But they can be found on Facebook, so please go check them out. And just to bring us to an end, a massive, humongous thanks to Kenny for putting that information together. And it's such a pleasure to see his work and his commitment to doing something, copying something like that. I really appreciate the time and effort that goes into that projects like that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, it's really appreciated. If you are new to this channel, if you could please consider liking and subscribing to support us. If you do that, smash that notification bell for our weekly videos. And as always, guys, happy racing.